the 2007 Dirt Track World Championship champion, Mr. Chub Frank. Chub, you with us?
Yes, I am.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I know you guys are got Bub in there, and you guys are working to get ready for the races coming up. Before we get into too much racing, tell me about being 5 years old and driving the Packer trucks.
Well, when my dad, my uncle, and a couple other guys built State Line Erie Speedway back in the 50s, so I kind of grew up around it. And when we were, like I said, when I was 5 years old, we started driving cars, packing the track, and first year I had to sit on my uncle's lap, but after that, it was on. I was probably had to be stopped a few times because I was overdriving a little bit when I was younger. But I did learn a lot, so I got a lot of laps in the mud. Let's put it that way.
Now, I can attest to that a little bit. I was much older. I was 35, I think, driving Packer cars at Green Valley. And I could, and especially going the wrong way, I could really make the car turn.
Yeah.
Whenever we started going the right way, I couldn't make the car turn anyway.
Well, you get a little more car control that way because you're always in a slide.
That's right. Ooh, I was always in a slide, as they say. I'm sure. So you guys are doing pretty well again this year in the World of Outlaw Series, running currently fifth. You finished fifth last year. What brought on the changes that adds Brad back to the mix this late in the season?
Well, Brad, we just picked Brad back up. He was, we actually swapped crew chiefs, I guess you could say, Clint Smith and myself, because Derek that worked for me, he went back home because that's where he was from, and Brad, he was out and he'd quit or went out to Illinois here a few weeks ago, and then he decided he wanted to go back on the road. So it's just easier to find somebody that's been around it. It's hard to train somebody that's new into this, and Brad can attest to that. He understands it because when you've been around this, it's a lot different than like Saturday night racing when you're on the road all the time. There's a lot of stuff that you got to do and do different, and it's hard to find somebody that knows already what to do, like Brad does. So it's just an easy fit. Plus he lives right here, so it works out perfect.
So you guys are up. Oh, go ahead.
I'd say it's probably hard just to find somebody that has the dedication to do it.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So that's my co-host Brian Graves, late model driver out of Hamilton, Ohio. Also on the telephone with us is my other co-host, Kyle May. He's a late model pilot down here in Alabama. So if you hear those other voices, that's who that is.
Okay.
So you guys are, like we said, touring with the World of Outlaws. What do you make of the Lanigan Tear?
Well, they're hot right now. There's no doubt. They're kind of like to know what they're doing, I guess. They're pretty tough. Just pretty much everything they do is the car's spot on. Even when they have a bad night, they seem like they can make it into something good. I just don't know what they're doing right now, but that whole team's clicking.
Record setting, obviously, but in your time of racing, have you known of another streak like this? No,
I can't say that. I can remember anything quite because it's not like the competition levels that is weak or anything. And he's been definitely on top of his game. He's really actually been on top of his game for the last 3 or 4 years. He had 1 year that he ran second, I don't remember, 9-10 times, and a bunch of them in a row, just kind of like he won. He's been winning, but he run second that many times in a row, too, a couple, 3 years ago. He just ran out of lap. He was always the fastest car on a racetrack at the end of the race, and he just come up short, now. And then once he started winning, it's gone to that extra position, the one that counts, the winning.
And you mentioned the competition, and it is good, but there's a lot of people out there, and talk is what it is. It's talk, and everybody understands that. But what is it, as a competitor of Lanigan's, what does it do, or how does it make you feel when somebody says, yeah, but he's not doing it against?
Oh, you're. I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, I'm telling you that no matter where he goes, he's competitive. So I mean, here's the thing, racing, it doesn't matter. You get into them streaks and things go your way, and that's great. But his car's fast. I mean, no matter where you go. I mean, he was at Cedar Lake. I mean, everybody was there. I mean, he'll be fast. The only place I think he doesn't, and he's fast. I guarantee he really wants to win, and that's probably that World 100. And that's a tough place to win.
And you know from experience, because in 2004 you guys got that. What does it mean to have that globe in your trophy case?
Well, that's. I guess you could call that bragging rights. It's something that it is hard to do. So when I retire, at least I know that we won. Probably the biggest race out there. We won that one and the world, the dirt track world championship. So it's just that is any of those races are hard to win, and they get harder every year because the competition level is definitely picked up all the way down to the local levels. It's hard to win a local race anymore. There's always stout competition when you go to a local race.
You were not only are you 8 years removed from that World 100 win, but you're 8 years removed from the Dirt Lake Model Hall of Fame induction of 04. What did it mean when you were recognized by your peers and inducted into the Hall of Fame?
Well, that's a big honor. There's no doubt. I when it happened, I'm thinking that that's a mistake because I'm not old enough to be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, that's for like when you get older and you're retired. But I do appreciate it. It just made me think about it's dwindling down the time, I guess you could say. We're still competitive. It's just harder to, when you get older, it's harder to run with these young guys. They don't care. They're at that point, and I remember them days when you just drive it and didn't care whether you got hurt or anything happened. You just drove it as hard as you could.
So, okay, last week we talked to James Essex, of course, the voice of Lucas Oil, and he got to induct his hero into the Hall of Fame. Who was Chub Frank's heroes growing up watching?
Well, my heroes were more on the local level. The guys that raced up here, I had the guys that nationally they probably wouldn't know. Ronnie Blackmer and Bobby Snars, guys that they won. Jay Plyler. There was guys up here. I think. Snars won like somewhere like 100 features up here at the local racetrack, and he could run with them guys, that anywhere. It's just that they never did travel. That was the thing. Guys back then didn't travel as much as they do now.
Is that something that maybe the fans of today are missing out on? Is having that real local hero?
Well, I mean, like I said, the local guys are tough. The local racing. It's just tough anywhere. You can go to a local race and it doesn't guarantee you're going to win a race. Doesn't matter how much experience you have or how much equipment you have. I mean, because there's always guys on the local level. There's always at least 4 or 5 guys at a local racetrack that are competitive enough to race. Now they race that racetrack every week. That's their advantage. You know what I'm saying? So. Sometimes it's not as easy when you go out on the road. You'll find out that every racetrack's a little bit different, so you do have to keep up with it. But for us, we're at a little bit of disadvantage because they know their own racetracks. But we go back to time trialing and stuff like that. We do it every week, so that helps us out. So it's kind of give and take that way.
Well, Chub, I really appreciate you joining us on the program this evening, taking time away from your company, and I know your grandchildren are running around. But before we let you go, I want you to thank some of your sponsors and those crew guys that help you guys run Top 5 in the World Outlaw Series.
Well, I do appreciate Brad coming back. That's a big help. Our Roush Yates stuff, that's definitely made our program a lot better. Rocket Chassis, if it wasn't for them, that we probably wouldn't be able to do this. So it's just my wife, Mary. if it wasn't for her, I guess I wouldn't be allowed to do it.
That's the truth.
Well, she has to keep everything in line. There's a lot behind the scenes. You got to wash everything, wash uniforms, clean all that stuff. That's a lot of work.
Well, Chub, if your home is anything like my home, I'm the president of the home, but my wife is Congress and she controls all the money.
Exactly. That's how it works.
Well, all right. Well, I appreciate you coming on tonight. We're going to take a short break. Don't hang up. Just pass the phone to Bub. When we come back, we'll have Bub McCool on. He's visiting up from Mississippi. And we'll be right back on In the Dirt.
Okay.